Hey everyone, this is Alex with Innovation in Tech Today. I'm joined today by author John Grisham and Dr. Neal Kassell, talking about Grisham's new book, The Tumor, which was presented here at CES. So is this your first CES experience?
It's my first, yeah.
Your first? Is it your first as well? And so how are you liking it so far?
It's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
Just in size, scope, attendees, 175,000 people at one convention. It's, I've been to a number of conventions, book conventions and lawyers conventions and things like that. Nothing compares to this. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and have you been able to walk around much and explore?
A little bit, not much.
Okay.
We will later.
Yeah, as of now, has there been kind of anything cool that's caught your eye especially, or?
I want to see the cars.
The cars?
We didn't see the cars.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little car guy. I want to see the cars.
Yeah, I think they have some driverless cars and stuff here. We actually did a test drive of the 2018 Nissan Leaf yesterday, and that was pretty cool, kind of for that full electric ride.
Driverless.
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on that.
You're not sold?
No.
Okay. You like maintaining control?
Yeah. It's going to be a hard habit to break.
Yeah. So kind of jumping into the book and like your collaboration together, could we talk a little bit about just how you two met, how you got connected originally, and how sort of this project came together?
We've been friends for 20 some odd years. We both lived in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay.
And I've known Neal for 25 years, back when he was a prominent neurosurgeon. And then about 10 years ago, he started the foundation, the Focused Ultrasound Foundation, to speed up this technology that we're trying to push to the forefront. About 10 years ago, Neal started talking about the technology with Focused Ultrasound, and he asked me if I would be on the board, and that's not my background, medicine and stuff like that. I'm a lawyer, and I was hesitant at first, and he was pretty persistent, and so I joined the board to do two things: to help raise awareness for focused ultrasound surgery, and to try and raise some money.
Okay.
And so that's how I'm involved. 3 or 4 years ago, we came up with the idea of at first it was kind of a joke, was for me to write a book. Mm-hmm. It'd be a free book we'd give away, a small book, and to try to raise awareness. And so I came up with a story, and it was a story that I didn't come up with. It's a story that Neal deals with every day as a neurosurgeon. Brain tumors. That's what he's done for the last 50 years, and so he's got the stories. Mm-hmm. He just had to give me one that would work. And then through several drafts, I wrote the story. I relied heavily upon Neal to edit and to get the medical stuff right. Because again, it's not my background, and also not dumb it down, but make it accessible and readable for everybody. Because most people are not physicians, and there's some big words in there. Yeah. So we went back and forth several times to get it right. We published it a couple years ago. Amazon put it up for free. It's a free book. We've distributed about 100,000 hard copies and about 800,000 ebooks online. So we're pushing 1 million. Mm-hmm. So it's got we're very happy with it. We're happy with the exposure, the awareness. It's helped some so far with fundraising. Mm-hmm. As for what the foundation actually does, I'll let Neal take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
So the foundation is a unique medical research, education, and advocacy organization that we created in October of 2006 as the catalyst to accelerate the development and adoption of this technology. Understanding that every month that we shave off the process that it takes for focused ultrasound to become a mainstream standard of care translates into a reduction in unnecessary death and disability and suffering for countless people. So the foundation engages in a variety of activities. We become the compass or the guiding light for the entire field. We provide resources. We organize and fund and conduct research. We have educational programs for internships, residents. We do a lot of things to increase awareness, like this. We work with the FDA to help them become a bridge rather than a barrier to the technology. We work with the manufacturers to help them achieve reimbursement. So it's a multi-pronged approach to take advantage of opportunities and overcome barriers.
Okay. And do you think you could explain, for our viewers who may not be super familiar with this field and this technology, you think you could explain focused ultrasound? Because that is the technology that's used in the book, correct?
Oh yeah, it's focused. It's 1,000 beams of high energy sound that we focus on one tiny spot in a tumor, somewhere deep in the body, or the brain, or wherever, the other body, and we, it cooks a tiny spot, and we move it. It cooks another one. It takes 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
So that's the layman's version of how it works.
Yeah.
That's all. That's as far as I can go. Neal has to pick up the ball at this point.
Yep.
So, let me back up a little bit. What John said is accurate, but I'm going to embellish.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, the way it works is analogous to using a magnifying glass to focus beams of light on a point and burn a hole in a leaf. But with focused ultrasound, instead of an optical lens focusing beams of light, we use an acoustic lens to focus beams of ultrasound energy on a point deep in the body with a high degree of precision and accuracy, so it can spare the adjacent normal tissue. And at that focal point where all the beams converge, there's a lot of different ways in which it interacts with the tissue. And the fact that there are so many different ways that it interacts with tissue creates the possibility to treat a really wide variety of medical disorders. And it includes destroying tissue, delivering drugs in very high concentration, stimulating the body's immune response to tumors, improving the effectiveness of radiation, and so on. There's now 18 ways that it can affect.
Neal started the foundation with the idea of attacking brain tumors, using focused ultrasound to cook, ablate, melt brain tumors. Because one of our first big founders and donors had a brain tumor history in the family, so he gave Neal the money to start it. And in the early days, it was all about brain tumors. If we reached the point where we could, just like in the book, you can cook the brain tumors and the patient drives home with no surgery, no loss of work, no residual damage anywhere. That's a miracle. Okay. And in the early days, it was all brain tumors. When I joined the board 8 years ago, it was we had a FDA approval for uterine fibroids, women with uterine fibroids, prostate cancer, and bone metastasis, with tumors metastasized to the bone. Very painful, but we can zap that. That's been approved now for 10 years. Those three, there are a few more have been approved in Europe. It's a little bit easier to get regulatory approval there. But now we have 100 potential applications for focused ultrasound. So what we're doing as a foundation, what Neal spends 15 hours a day doing, is trying to raise the money to direct the research, to broaden the field and to speed up the adaptation of this technology. That's what we do.
And is the spread going pretty well? I mean, because it sounds like a great deal. I mean, and is it are people adapting it and taking it on, or
the field has grown far more rapidly than we ever anticipated.
Really?
Yeah. The foundation's been more successful than we ever anticipated. But and one of the challenges is keeping up with this really explosive growth, an extremely high-class problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's a great problem to have. Yeah.
It's also frustrating. Because especially Neal, he sees cases every day involving people who could be treated.
Yeah.
And it can't be treated. And we have lunch all the time, and we start every lunch off with the report on all of our friends and the people we know. Where's their cancer?
Yeah.
Where's the tumor? Are they in remission? Has it come back? I mean, that's how we start, because that's Neal's world. He's lived in that world for 50 years, and so it's extremely frustrating from his point of view. Somebody deals with the families all the time, or people desperate for a miracle. It is a miracle, okay? If we could ever get there, and so it's rewarding, it's frustrating. It's also it ramps up the enthusiasm. I mean, our foundation, our staff, it's a great organization, but the people are committed to get this technology available for everybody.
Yeah, very cool. And so coming back to the book, you kind of mentioned earlier, your background is in law, you're a lawyer, and so kind of branching out as health tech. How did you like writing on this subject matter? Did you find it difficult? Did you have to change your writing process at all?
No, I knew it was going to be a thin book, which is always appealing to me because I'm not looking for work.
Yeah.
My books get shorter as the older I get. Okay, my novels, fewer and fewer words, more and more dialogue. But I knew I could tell a story, and the story was not mine because I've known Neal for a long time, and I've heard him tell these stories over the years of the brain tumor he just found that cannot be operated on, or is going to be fatal in 12 months. Or, people we know. People we don't know. I don't know.
John McCain.
Yeah, John McCain. When Ted Kennedy was diagnosed several years ago, we had lunch the next week, and Neal said 11 months.
Right.
And that's about what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
His son-in-law, 15 years ago, was a veterinarian in Philadelphia, and Neal got the X-ray of his son-in-law, and there was the big tumor, and he lasted 12 months. So we have these conversations, and they're painful to have, and it's very motivational for the entire foundation because these are people we know. It touched my family. It's going to touch your family. It's going to touch everybody's family. It already has, and it's motivational. It's rewarding, but there's also a level of frustration that's good. It keeps us going.
Yeah. And on your end, I mean, did you? Because I know you mentioned that you did some editing for the book. Did you enjoy sort of working on this story? Did you feel that was a little out of your element, or did you enjoy it?
No, it wasn't out of my element, but it was really a pleasure to be able to take a story that I could tell from a scientific perspective in a very dry, objective, dispassionate way, and have John take it and translate it into language that connected emotionally with large numbers of people.
Yeah,
you ought to see some of the crap he writes. I mean, it's
awful.
No, I'm joking.
Well, you should see some of the brain tumors he's operating. It's not real pretty either.
I can't get near it. But he has to write the medical technical stuff that is unreadable. For someone like me. But it was a good collaboration. We didn't even view it as a collaboration. We just did it for the heck of it. Yeah. And it was a story that I took. I've heard it from Neal many times. I wrote the first draft. Neal had to get involved for all the medical stuff to make it accurate and also accessible. Yeah. And so we went back and forth a few times and had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's almost kind of what we're dealing with a lot today is sort of like the accessibility of science and making science accessible to the public.
It was a huge challenge because the goal was to increase awareness amongst all the stakeholders in one fell swoop. So everything from a patient to some foundation director to a public official to scientists and clinicians.
And manufacturers and researchers. Yeah.
And John, he nailed it. I mean, everybody can understand it.
Yeah.
That's the dream. The book is all about the dream that motivates the foundation. The dream is that one day, soon, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, this technology will be everywhere. It'll save thousands, if not millions, of lives. It will improve the health care of millions of people, and it'll be accessible. It'll be cheaper, and it will not, disrupt your life. Okay, it'll be much easier to be treated. That's the dream, and we're still pushing hard to get there.
Yeah. Is there what's the foundation working on now? Is there something we can expect in the future? Programs? Anything we can expect coming out?
Well, the exciting thing for us this year is the brain indications, but particularly using focused ultrasound to open the blood-brain barrier reversibly to allow drugs to get into the brain to treat brain tumors, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, perhaps Huntington's disease. So that's a big area.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The second thing is the whole field of cancer, particularly cancer immunotherapy, and where we're really interested is glioblastomas and pancreatic cancer. And then we've started, strangely, a veterinary initiative to treat soft tissue tumors in initially dogs. The idea being that it's a leading cause of death in these companion animals, but by treating them, we'll develop information that can be used to feed back to help the patients. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you both so much for talking to me today. I know I learned a lot. Hopefully, all of you out there, you learned something too. So this was Alex with Innovation in Tech Today. Make sure to check out John Grisham's book, The Tumor. You said it was available on Amazon,
It's
correct?
free. It's the only free book I've ever written.
Oh, there you go.
The last free book I've ever written.
So there you go. The Tumor. Check it out on Amazon, and make sure you check out the
Focused Ultrasound Foundation.
Focused Ultrasound Foundation to learn more about the great work they're doing. So, all right. See you later.